Welcome, everybody, to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, episode number 191. And coming up on this one, Marner and Tavares return to the lineup. Auston Matthews says, "Hey, boys, I got this." Another hat trick, and they find a way to blow a 3-1 lead, but they won it in overtime. Morgan Rielly's appealing his 5-game suspension, and we are going to look at some potential trade targets for the Leafs because we got the trade deadline coming up. All this and more on the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast.
Tell you what, Torts comes to town. He brings his old bag of tricks with his Philadelphia Flyers, and he's probably wishing after this one the way, well, not so bad at the end there when they came back to tie it, but I bet you Tortorella, the way the Flyers played at some points in this game, he was probably wishing his old buddy Brooksy was around, Chad, so he could say, you know what, Brooksy, why don't you get the fuck out of here, Brooksy, okay? Thank you. Let's hit the intro.
Tavares coming out, sends it in a goal. They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
Don't forget to follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Tip In Pod on Twitter or X. Tip In Podcast on TikTok.
There it is.
Right. Well, Dale, I'll tell you, we'll just get right into it. I thought this puppy was over in regulation.
Oh, yeah, me too, man. Me too.
I thought this was over in regulation, but somehow, even with minutes left on the clock, they found a way to blow a 3-1 lead.
Yes, they sure did. Okay, anything off the top? Anything off the top, Chad?
No, I got no beer stories.
That was
guys
wild.
drinking from recycle cans. So
That was fucking wild, man. I still can't believe that.
I mean, I could get into the prostitutes behind the library, but we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, another day for sure. All right, look, man. Quickly on Rielly, and then I'm going to go right to the game. Quickly on Rielly. So 5-game suspension, whatever. We were talking about that on the last podcast. So they're going to appeal it. So I guess Tree Living and I don't know who else is going to be there, but in person tomorrow in New York with Jerry Bettman at noon or whatever. Tree Living and Rielly will be there. So I don't know. Obviously, they're going to show videos of like some previous hits that like didn't amount to a 5-game suspension and try to knock it down a few games. So tonight was the second game that he missed. They've got Anaheim coming up on Saturday and then St. Louis Monday, and then they're going out west for a few games. So I don't know. What do you think? You think that like Bettman knocks some games off of this, or you think it'll stay at 5?
I don't know. I don't know what it, I mean, Jason Spezza had a game. I think he had one game knocked off of his suspension when they appealed it under Bettman. So maybe he gets a game knocked off and it goes down to 4. But I mean, at this point, you've already played 2.
Yeah.
So by the time they come to a decision, like you're having the meeting tomorrow, you'll probably play Saturday. You'll have 3 games, and then they'll make a decision after that.
Yeah. Do you
so
see him?
Maybe it goes down to 4.
I was going to say, do you see him knocking it down to 3 maybe? So he misses the next 2 and that's it?
No.
Or no, if he missed the next 2, sorry, he'd be that would be 4.
That would be 4, yeah. No, I don't see him knocking it down to 3.
So as of right now, he'll be eligible to return next, I believe it's Thursday night in Anaheim.
Yeah. Did you see the video of them explaining the suspension, why he got 5 games?
Yeah, it's
like basically their whole thing about it wasn't a hockey play. Like it was after the game. Like it didn't happen during the play.
Yeah, I think it's a poor explanation.
Yeah, I didn't find it a very great explanation.
It didn't happen after the game. It happened during the game. Once the fucking...
I know, but like it was near the end of the game. It wasn't in the middle of a play. So some people are talking about other cross checks that have been worse, that have been just fines or a game or 2. And their whole explanation was, well, yeah, but that happened in the middle of the game. So it's like, okay, so like this is what I fucking hate about the NHL. There's no clear line. It's so up and down. So yeah, you can cross-check a guy in the head and get fined as long as you do it during a play. But if after the whistle or after a goal, no, then it's
no. But again, like you look at the goal and the way the empty net goal was scored, it's just crazy.
I know that should play a part in it.
Like, I don't see Bettman stepping in here, and like, I don't think he likes overriding the decisions made by the players department or whatever it's called, Department of Players Department of Safety.
Player safety, yeah.
But so I don't think Bettman, like, he's, those guys are in place for a reason. Like, they do their job. That's their job, to hand out suspensions, look at all the details, all that. But I think they missed the boat in this particular situation. But I don't think Bettman likes, overriding them. So maybe he does knock a game off, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. Maybe they do. Anyway,
we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I just wanted to touch on that.
I think even if he doesn't, the Leafs are doing it to sort of stand behind Morgan Rielly.
Oh,
they're
for sure.
They've got to appeal it. Almost every team appeals it unless it's, pretty cut and dry. So they're just doing it. It might get a game knocked off. More than likely, he's going to serve all 5 games.
Like, last thing I'll say on it is, like, if I'm Tree Living or Rielly or whoever's involved in that meeting tomorrow, I'd go in there and just be like, I would just show them the video of the whole play and be like, do you think that's appropriate for the Ottawa player to do that? Do you think that's appropriate? Like, what are we playing here? We're not playing fucking pickleball. Like,
I've never. That's a terrible explanation or a terrible example for that, because in pickleball, you want to hear a story about pickleball? I'll tell you a fucking funny story about pickleball. I went to
dangerous game though. Right? Pickleball.
God.
It is it's more dangerous than people think.
I was at the YMCA. And there was a pickleball tournament going on.
You can get some pretty heated stuff cooking at a pickleball.
So there was a guy, he had to be 25 years old, and he had his team was wearing matching shirts. They were intense. Everything was they were giving it out there. Anyway, the ball, which I think I've never played pickleball, but I don't think it's a hard ball.
No, of course not.
So it hit him in the finger. He screams. Like, I'm not even in the gym. I can hear this guy scream. He leaves the gym. He's holding his finger. He walks up to the front desk. He's like, I need a Band-Aid. His cut, man, was like so minor. Like something I was anyway.
Yeah.
The pussies of pickleball.
Yeah.
Don't know anything about it. But that's my pickleball story.
Okay, so look, a bad comparison to pickleball,
but
you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I was trying to, like, the most non-violent thing I can think of was pickleball.
Oh,
so,
like, it's definitely non-violent.
But if you're showing Bettman like that play, like, as a representative of Morgan Rielly or even Morgan Rielly, like, you have to be like, Bettman, take a look at what this dickhead from the Senators did. If that didn't happen, none of this would have happened in the fucking first. If he just lays that in the fucking empty net, done. It's over. There would have been no reaction by the Leafs. If it was just a normal empty net goal, that would be the fucking end of it. The Leafs would have taken it on the chin and moved on and whatever. But it's because
the Leafs were coasting, man. They were all coasting, not doing a thing. And then he put it in the net like that, and they went at him.
That's just it. But it's because of what the Ottawa player did that caused the reaction. So how does Bettman and the player personnel department not take a look at, like, well, this is why it happened? Like, it's to
play devil's advocate. The NHL could be like, well, we were going to give them 7 games. We already took that into consideration.
That's insane.
Did you see somebody commented on our last YouTube video that he should have got 25 games?
That is, no, I did not see that.
Yeah.
But that is probably outrageous. That is probably sense, man. That is
shout out to
5 games. That is outrageous.
Shout out to the guy. I was just scrolling through the comments. Shout out to the guy who commented underneath, who was like, "You don't know shit about hockey." Like 25 games. Come on.
Commented that we don't know shit about hockey.
No. The guy commented to the 25 games. Okay. Like, one guy who I think he comments on a lot of our videos. He commented to that guy and said, "You don't know shit about hockey." Like 25 games.
No, like we were Team Rielly on that. Like I said last podcast, like I would have, if I was on the ice, I would have taken that fucking kid. I would have taken a 10-game suspension for no problem. But anyway, okay, we'll move on here. So we go to the game tonight. Tortorella brings the Flyers in, and the Flyers have been looking pretty good as of late.
Good suit on Tortorella tonight.
Oh, fuck, man. I'm surprised he didn't blow a gasket at one point in this game because Philly was looking good early, and then they dipped, and then they got it back, and whatever. Not a terrible hockey game.
Do you remember we did a podcast a couple years ago, and Rusty, longtime listener, he tweeted us that it would be awesome if the coaches had to wear uniforms like baseball managers.
I do remember.
I think Torts will be the first coach to do that.
I bet you he wants to, and he's probably wanted to for a long time.
Tonight, he's wearing like a pullover. Yeah. Like Keefe's in the full suit. All the Leaf coaches are in the full suit. All the other Flyer coaches in full suit. This guy looks like he just came from practice. He's going to be the first guy that just puts a jersey on and stands.
If he could, he would. No doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt. Torts would be the guy to do it. But yeah, man, I was watching just quickly. Like I was watching some of the old. I was trying to find the exact clip with him and Brooksy where he told Brooksy to go fuck himself. Brooksy, when Tortorella coached for the Rangers, like he had this beat reporter, whatever, I don't know his first name, but he always called him Brooksy, and they're just heated exchanges like you wouldn't, like we're used to this lob balls, right? With like, remember Henny and now Masters, like just lob balls to the Leafs coaches or whoever they're giving interviews to. But this one beat reporter in New York, Brooksy, he could not stand Tortorella. He would challenge him on everything. Tortorella would challenge him back. And like there literally was one scrum where he got so heated where Tortorella was like, you know what, Brooksy, why don't you do me a favor here? Get the fuck out of here, okay? Just go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he told me, he's like, get the fuck out of here.
Like he legit did. Like that's not like he.
I know. I wish I had the clip. I would play it right now, but
I was thinking about putting it in, but I didn't. But it is on YouTube if you want to go check it out. Anyway, the Leafs, right to this game, Chad. The Leafs get sleeping. Leafs get an early power play. God awful early in this game.
Yeah.
They look terrible. They give up multiple shorthanded chances, and Philly's one of the best shorthanded teams in the league. Literally, there was like two almost breakaways on that Leafs power play.
They hit the post right before they scored.
Ridiculous. Philly did? Yeah.
They hit the post and shorthanded, got the puck back. Complete breakdown by the Leafs.
Just a god-awful power play by the Leafs, and the shorthanded Flyers end up couple opportunities and they bury it to take an early 1-0 lead in this game. And then all of a sudden, the Auston Matthews show takes over in the second period. He rips one home for his league-leading 43rd goal of the season. Not done there. Gets another one on the power play, his 44th. That made it 2-1 Leafs. Not done there. Natural hat trick for Auston Matthews. Steps over the blue line, rips it. Another one home for the hat trick. 3 goals in 7.5 minutes, Chad, in the second period. I'm going to throw it to you in a second here. His 45th goal of the season makes it 3-1 Leafs at that time. So natural hat trick, 7.5 minutes in the second period. Absolutely incredible. He's going to have 50 goals by the end of February for fucking fun. His 5th hat trick of the season. He is now on pace for 69 goals.
Leave it right there.
Which is the absolute perfect pace that you want to be on. I don't think you want any less. I don't think you want any more.
Right
you just want 69 goals. Let's leave it right there, like you said. This guy's on an absolute another planet right now. His 5th hat trick of the season. I think Johnny said tonight on the TSN broadcast, his 45th goal in 50 games. This guy is on another planet. It's just, this is shit that we just don't see, especially as Leafs fans on our team. Like, we don't fucking see this kind of shit ever.
It's crazy because, we give them so much shit all the time. We've been doing this podcast for years, but we've been Leaf fans our whole life. We're always looking at the negative, and sometimes you just have to step back and appreciate that this guy's on the team. You just got to fucking look around and be like, oh my God. I remember when 45 goals would not just be the leader of the team for the season, but that would hold up for 3 or 4 years. No one
45, dude. Fuck, I remember Kessel scoring 36, 38.
That's what I'm saying. When a guy scored, it used to be a guy scored 45. It's another guy didn't do that for years. That was a record. This guy's doing this. It's fucking February. We just passed Valentine's Day. Guy's at 45 goals. He needs 30 goals, he needs 25 goals in 30 games. There's 30 games left to hit 70. So you just have to appreciate the fact that we are alive and watching Auston Matthews right now. Because after all the shit we've been through as Leaf fans, it's pretty nice to have Auston on the team doing this.
It is, man. And look, like it's I don't want to. I'm living in the moment and just appreciating it for what it is awesome. But ultimately, you know, like I don't want to go negative. Yeah, like I don't want to go negative here. But if he does score 65 or 69 or 70 plus goals, whatever. But ultimately they flame out in the first round again, then it's just going to be like, yeah, great. Like that guy, he loves burying the puck in fucking February. But like, you know, how about April? How about May? Like what do we got cooking then? So we'll have to reevaluate this.
I know.
But yes,
I agree with what you do have to enjoy it while it's happening, because we might not see another player like this on the Leafs in our lifetime.
Might not. Dude, like we're approaching an age where it's like, when
breaks, we're not dead yet.
When this thing, but like think about it. Like when this thing finally ends, think about how long it's taken for this franchise to see a guy like this. I highly doubt in our lifetime we see another one. I just don't think it's possible. I really don't. Like look at the guys, Matthews, McDavid, maybe Bedard. I don't even think Bedard ends up getting to this level, but like you just look around the league, like it's.
Everything had to go perfect, right? Like you have to be a bad team in the year of a draft where a guy like this is available, and then you have to win the lottery to get the first overall pick. Like so many things have to fall into place. Like Oilers had how many first round picks? Yeah, McDavid is a star, but like Nugent Hopkins, and I'm drawing a blank here on the little Russian kid that didn't pan out at all.
Oh.
Yakupov.
Neil
Yakupov. But yeah, like it could have been that, right? Like 2015 could have been a Nugent Hopkins, Taylor Hall kind of year.
Well, hey, look at the Montreal Canadiens last year.
That's what I'm saying.
Chicago ends up getting Bedard, last year, last year. And then the Habs ended up, they chose not to pick Shane Wright, and they went with Slafkovsky. I thought, okay, maybe that turns out. But to me, just there wasn't a clear cut there. Slafkovsky might end up turning out to be more like a Laine. Like Laine's a good player, but he's not a franchise fucking changing guy. No. You know what I mean? Like Matthews clearly is that.
That's what I mean. So many things have to fall into place for you to get a guy like that on your team, because you can't trade for them in their prime. You can't, sign them as free agent. It has to be drafted.
You imagine, not to shit on Habs fans here, but I will a little bit. Like not like you imagine that, like
we call Tony. See what he
Tony. Like you imagine the year that the Leafs bottomed out and had that first pick, and the guy, like the best dude available that they thought was Slafkovsky, we'd still be in the fucking basement. Like, right? Like, think about it.
Marner would be the star of the team.
No, I know. Like, I know there's other guys there, but just going off of what you said, like, it just, McDavid the year before, 2 years in a row too. Like McDavid and then fucking Matthews. Like I think it was the same with Sid and Ovi. Like that comes around every 10, 20 years. Like you just don't have it.
Or even the year that McDavid went first overall. I mean, you got Marner at fourth. There are a lot of drafts where Mitch Marner would probably go one or two, and you don't get him at fourth, and you end up having to take a Dylan Strome or something like that. Like a lot of things worked out for the Leafs, but for them to get Auston Matthews, everything fell into place. And I'm sure they knew from day one, like they were scouting Matthews long before that.
You don't even
they won a training camp that year. They were like, we're going to finish dead last.
Yeah. Well, fuck, dude. Of course. 100%. Anyway,
perfectly orchestrated.
Another incredible night by Matthews. And he just kind of like, he didn't even really have that good a game. He just, for 10 minutes span in the second period, he's like, I'm just going to rip everything in the fucking net.
That's all he needs to do.
That's just what this guy can do, right? He's so, it's crazy, man. Like I had everything teed up, dude. 3-1 lead with 5 minutes to go. I'm thinking like, we got 2 seggies coming here, saved by the stash, whale of a game. But no, it all went to shit. You want to know why? Because late in the third period, the Leafs take 2 offensive zone penalties, Gregor and Bertuzzi, and the Flyers fucking tie it at 3.
Terrible penalties.
They're in the deep in the offensive zone. Both calls against Gregor and Bertuzzi. Brutal, man. So the Flyers end up tying it at 3.
When you're that deep, stay in there.
Oh, fuck. You know what I want to phrase here, Chad. You know what I'm saying. Like, the phrase "balls deep." Balls deep. Well, you've never heard of balls deep. Balls deep means like you can't go. You can't go any deeper.
But what kind of balls are getting deep?
Deep
like
balls.
Basketballs.
Any type of balls you want. Baseballs, basketballs, cock and balls. Okay? Whatever you want, man. Whatever you want, all right? But instead of like, what's the saying? What did I just say? Balls deep. Instead of balls deep, I would like to rephrase that to deep balls. Deep balls, because I don't think balls deep is deep enough. I think you need to be balls deep balls. deep balls. Like, I think you need to have the balls deep as well. Like, basically I'm saying you need to push the ball. Like, it's not deep enough to go
just
balls
to reiterate,
deep.
You just said balls deep isn't deep enough. We need to be deep balls to have the balls deep.
You need the balls tucked in there, and you need, like, deep balls is cool. You're almost there on ball. Sorry. You're deep. Balls deep, you're almost there, but the balls are still hanging out. If you really want to get serious about things, you're going to want to go deep balls. You want the balls deep. Confusing. I know that might be a little confusing, but in my mind, it makes sense.
That may have been one of the most confusing things I've ever heard, but I get it. But somehow I get it.
Deep balls. That's ultimately what I'm saying here. Forget
balls deep is not deep enough.
No. There's your podcast title right there, Chaz. Deep. I just gave it to you on a T. Deep balls. Okay. So anyway, here's what ultimately ends up happening here. The Leafs do blow a 3-1 lead. Not great. Some old habits creeping in there. I don't like seeing it, but ultimately goes to overtime. Philly gets a point. The Leafs, Nylander pops it home, and they win it 4-3 in overtime. And that's how it shook down tonight. But ultimately, incredible performance by Matthews.
We'll say this. Overtime, no David Kampf to take the face off. Auston Matthews took the face off to start.
So it should be.
And also, Timothy Liljegren, great play to get the puck to Nylander. No way in hell Liljegren would have been on the ice if Rielly was in this game.
Yep, true.
So good on Liljegren. That's what you got to do, man. When your time is up, you got to make the most of it. And he did that in OT.
Yep. Quickly, Marner and Tavares return. I don't know. Like, Marner was okay. Tavares,
I thought Marner had a really good game. He looked Matthews' goals. Nice pass on the third goal.
Yeah.
Tavares.
Yeah.
All season, like, he started out really good, but he's really kind of invisible. I hate to say it, but he's been kind of 5-on-5, nothing. Power play, he stands in front of the net. He gets a goal here and there, but
big time struggles. He needs to go deep balls soon, I hope. But he's gone balls deep a few times.
He hasn't even gone balls deep yet.
Well, I'm not so no. Yeah, okay, fair. Not on the ice anyway. But look, man, here's what I'll say. Ultimately, like, without Matthews, let's be serious here. Like, that 3-goal explosion in the second period, no secondary tonight. Again, like, I don't expect McMahon to step up every night, but I didn't really like a ton of what I saw from a lot of guys tonight, to be honest. Like, from the 6D to, like, a lot of the forwards just kind of, I don't know, ho-hum. Like, I don't know how
the defenseman.
No, the 6D plus just like the bottom six and just in general, like the bottom six forwards, whatever, like coming off of that St. Louis win where they looked so impressive without Marner, Tavares, and Rielly. And then tonight it was just kind of like,
I don't know, man. I kind of felt, they didn't get the secondary scoring, but I kind of felt like they didn't have it tonight and still they gave up the shorthand goal where they fell apart. But did you not kind of feel like they held Philadelphia kind of away from the net, off the scoreboard?
They did, but not enough. Like, just like they played better in the second period, and then the third period they played pretty well, but then some costly mistakes, and it's like, here you go. Like,
those were stupid penalties to take, but
it could have went the other way. Like,
what I'm saying is
you're a bounce away from losing that game.
Defensively, I thought they played a pretty good game, like as a team, because they didn't have it offensively.
No,
they didn't. Other than Matthews, they didn't have anything going. But they kind of like Philadelphia only had like 20 shots halfway through the third period, and then the Leafs kind of took their foot off the gas. But I thought, I actually thought Brody played a good game. I've been really liking McCabe lately. Yeah.
He's all banged up.
Seems every fucking night he takes a puck to the face. But
I know he did again tonight, I think. Too,
I know every night.
Or a stick.
So I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Deep balls on McCabe for sure.
Oh, deep balls.
Okay, so I got a couple quick things here. I want to get to some potential trade targets, and I want to hit more on this on the weekend, but I'm just going to go quickly here. I don't know. Like, there's been a bunch of things kind of rumored around and whatever. So there's a few things floating. There's a big one out there that I'm going to save until the weekend, but there's a couple minor ones here that one minor, maybe not so minor. You heard anything about Boone Jenner from Columbus? You heard like Draggers talked about it. Like, there's been some rumblings.
I've heard the Leafs and the Colorado Avalanche are the front runners, but to be fair, almost every fucking trade rumor, the Leafs are somehow the front runner. So,
what are your thoughts on like, he's a left-handed shot, like he's a pretty gritty guy. Like, I think they could use a guy like that. I think he makes $3.5 million. I'm not 100% sure on that, so I'm not sure how they would work the money. What are your thoughts on? Okay, so ultimately, what I'm saying here is, like, tonight they had Holmberg playing with Nylander and Tavares. I don't love that. Like, no, you could have. I guess I get why they kept Kampf, Gregor, and McMahon together because of like how well they played last game, and Domi with Bertuzzi and all that. So, like, I get some of the decision making by Sheldon Keefe here tonight, but ultimately, do you not think that, like, and Reeves was a healthy scratch tonight here, but I don't know, a guy like, if it's not Boone Jenner, a guy like Boone Jenner, like, I don't even want to get into the defense tonight because we all know that they need something back there. But do you not think they also could potentially use like a little more muscle and a little more grit up front?
Of course.
Whether it's top six or bottom six, like, what are your thoughts on that? Boone Jenner or somebody else? Whatever.
100% they could. 100% they could. When games get tight, the thing about the Ottawa game that they lost, there was no penalties being called. It was kind of being reffed like a playoff game. And the Leafs started to do that thing that they do. They keep looking at the refs like, "What, are you not going to call anything? What's going on?" Instead of buckling down and playing that type of hockey game that needed to be played. But I'll say this to you, man. Last year, you went and got all those things, and it didn't really make a difference. Like, is Boone Jenner any better than Ryan O'Reilly? Probably not.
Similar,
you went and got, like, I know everyone's talking about Tanev coming in. Yeah, Tanev's probably better than Luke Shen, but you went out and got Luke Shen.
I kind of think that ship and then maybe sailed.
You put maybe, but everyone's talking about it. But then you went and got Noel Acciari. Like, I think last year, you had everything that all Leaf fans wanted at the trade deadline. Like, you were going into the playoffs with all the things we're talking about that they need right now. You went and got it last year, and it didn't work.
No, it did not.
I'm kind of up in the air on.
But does that mean? Does that mean they should,
Nick Robertson for Boone Jenner and stuff like this?
But does that? But okay, but hang on. Does that mean like they shouldn't do it again because it didn't work last year? It won't work again. I'm not saying it won't. I'm just asking you what your thoughts are on that. Like, I have my own thoughts on that, but
that's where I'm kind of in the middle because
like it doesn't matter what they do. It's not going to fucking work anyway.
A part of me actually thinks that. A part of me is like, well, you can go ahead and trade more prospects and more picks and do it. But like last year, you emptied the cupboard. You went and got, like, no one was complaining when you brought in Ryan O'Reilly. No one's complaining about Luke Shen. And
no, Dubas killed it. He killed it.
He killed it at the deadline. They went in with probably their best chance of winning a Stanley Cup since this era began of the Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. Didn't work out.
No.
My whole problem is if you're going to trade like a Nick Robertson or if you're going to trade picks, I know they want to hold on to the first round pick. Do you think you're any better this year? Like, I guess the league is a little more wide open for the Stanley Cup.
I think it's wide open.
It's wide open until you get to the West because you put Boone Jenner on the Leafs. I still think Colorado or Vegas would absolutely destroy Toronto.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think
I don't know. I'm really in the middle.
I think the Panthers will.
But at the same time,
like, I don't think they match up. I don't think they match up well against the Florida Panthers.
They don't, but you only have so many years with Auston Matthews and these guys in their prime, so you kind of got to go for it.
Yeah,
it's that whole thing. Like, I want them to go for it, but then I'm like, do I really want them to go for it? I don't know.
Okay, we'll get more into that on the weekend.
We'll talk about it later.
Let us, if you're watching on YouTube, guys, let us know in the comments what you think. Boone Jenner, a guy.
It's
like
always
that.
the same thing every year. That's my point.
No, I know.
Every year it's like, oh, we need depth. We need another centerman. We need some grit. And I think they addressed all that last year,
and it didn't work.
I know. So you're gonna do it again? You're gonna just keep doing it every year?
Would love to hear from you guys that are watching and listening. Let us know what you think in the comments. A guy like Boone Jenner, somebody else, like, do they need help up front on the blue line and possibly in net? That's where I'm going to go next. Go ahead. Finish.
Well, I was just going to ask you a question. Do you think Tree Living has gone balls deep?
Oh, not even close. He's I don't even know. He's barely put the tip in. Barely.
He's not even in the room yet.
No, like he's like this guy's like balls deep.
Do you think he'll go balls deep before the trade deadline?
I don't know how deep his balls can go. But
he said he doesn't like to go balls deep at the trade deadline. He likes to go balls deep in the summer.
I'm not convinced who doesn't? Who doesn't, man? I like that too. But you know what? Like, I'm not sure that it's going to be his call because there's a guy sitting above him, Chad, that his job could
balls deep many a time.
Oh, fuck. You're not kidding there. He's gone deep balls and balls deep all fucking night long and all summer long, Shanny. He doesn't matter the occasion for him. But there's a guy above Tree Living that might be like, force his hand and be like, look, dude, my fucking job's on the line here. So you got to do it. Like, you're probably going to be around. I might get fucking canned this summer, but you're probably still going to be here. So please do what you can to like help us this season. I don't know. A lot of interesting things coming in the next couple of weeks.
Goaltending?
I want to touch on Samsonov for a second and then some other quick goaltending rumors before we get out of here. This is the last thing I got. Sure. How do you think so with Joseph Woll right around the corner, he's don't know how soon, but like a week or two, I would say within the next couple of weeks, Joseph Woll will be back in net for the Leafs. I think. Do you not think? Within the next 2 weeks, he's going to get back into game action. So Samsonov, though, like he's obviously looked a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Are you comfortable with Samsonov and Woll going forward and Jones, who's hurt now? But those are the three guys here. Or going to throw a couple quick rumors at you. I'd love to get your opinion on this. First question is, do you think that potentially if there was an upgrade in net, they should look at that? And I'm going to throw some names at you. Bennington, and this is going to, St. Louis, all depend on like if teams fall out over the next couple of weeks before the trade deadline, all that. But I'm going to throw four names at you.
Holy.
Well,
you're going balls deep with the goalies.
Deep balls here, baby, to wrap it up. Ready? St. Louis, Bennington, Calgary, Markstrom, Anaheim, Gibson, Nashville, Saros. Marc-Andre Fleury in Minnesota said that he would only be interested. Apparently, LeBrun was reporting this in three teams: Carolina, Colorado, or Toronto, which I find interesting. Like,
weird that he would put Toronto on the list.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe LeBrun was just doing that because like he knows the market and he's just trying to like get people
clicks on his stories,
pay attention. I'm a little surprised that like Fleury wouldn't put Edmonton in there too. As good as Skinner has played, and I know the 15-16 game win streak for the Oilers, whatever, but like, why wouldn't you, like, if Edmonton came knocking, like, why wouldn't you explore that? But anyway, Bennington, Markstrom, Gibson, Saros, Fleury, or are you cool with just stand pat in goal? That's not where they should focus their attention. What are your thoughts on all that?
I would say that I go deep balls when it comes to goaltending. I'll tell you that. Like, I believe that
make or break.
I believe that goaltending is way more important than
look at Bobrovsky last season.
That's what I'm saying, man. If Bobrovsky was on Toronto, we would probably win that second round.
They probably go right to the fucking final, 100%. So, heater. He was on a heater.
I've always been deep balls. Like, I think even back in the day, we always talk about these Leaf teams that went to the conference finals and stuff. Let's be honest.
Cujo, Potvin,
Ed Belfour. Without those guys, You're not getting by Ottawa in the first round.
Belfort didn't get them there. Not to the conference.
But Belfort got them a couple rounds.
No, I know.
Got them out of one round.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would have, without those guys, you don't even get by the Ottawa Senators back in the day.
No.
Just doesn't happen. So yeah, I would definitely,
like, any standout names for you there.
Marc-Andre Fleury to me stands out because he's done it, and I think.
You not think he's a little past it though?
I think if you just catch lightning in a bottle, it could happen.
Binnington, some of the playoffs.
I'm not a big Binnington. Markstrom would probably be top on my list because I think he's
not proven though.
Not proven, but I don't know.
He wouldn't be top on my list. Like
I'm not totally against going with Samsonov, Wall, and Jones, but I would put Wall on the top of that list. Like, because we don't know what Wall is. Like Samsonov, he can be good, but he's leaky. He's always been leaky his whole career.
I 100%.
That's a terrible word to use. That is
no. It's okay. You're right. You're right. It shaky, leaky, whatever you want to say. Like you're right. Look, man. I will say this: if the Leafs are going to do anything in the playoffs, I truly 100% believe that Joseph Wall will be in net for it. That's what I think. Yeah, it won't be Jones and it won't be Samsonov. It will be Joseph Wall.
Yeah. So if you traded for like a guy like Markstrom and Wall ends up being better than him because we don't know Wall's ceiling, it's kind of a waste. But at the same time,
that's right.
Man, when you get into the playoffs, if you could have someone back there that gets hot.
Well, Fleury not the perfect recipe?
That's what
I'm
saying.
Like he's
Marc-Andre Fleury.
He's been incredible for Pittsburgh. At times he's been incredible for Vegas. At times, like this guy, he's been there. He's gone as deep as you can go. Yeah. I don't know if his game is still whatever, but like you kind of just mentioned,
but you only need it for 2 months. You only need 2 months.
That's just it. But would you want to spend assets and like money there to upgrade in net when they have so many other areas? Like they basically need to upgrade in all three positions, kind of. So like they're gonna have to allocate. Or do you just
say, we'll try again next year?
Well, I mean, you can't throw this thing away. Like you got to at least try to do something here. I think like. You're in the mix. It's not, to me, I think the East is wide open. If they end up getting a wild card spot and playing the Rangers, there's no reason why they can't. Dude, maybe there's no reason why they can't beat New York in a 7-game series. And then maybe all of a sudden they're going through Metro teams and they don't have to worry about Florida or Boston until the East final.
Yeah, it's true.
Like they could end up having 2 Metro teams in the first 2 rounds, which we haven't seen.
No, we've never seen that. It's a possibility. It all lies in Brad Treliving's hands. I do not love that. Anyway,
so you're not opposed to upgrading in net, but you don't think it's like the main thing, or you think that should be like close to the top of the list, like bring in a veteran guy like a Fleury, and like, well,
if I'm gonna go along with what I've been saying this whole podcast, you tried the Ryan O'Reilly and Luke Shen thing last year, didn't work out. Maybe try the goaltender. Maybe go get a Marc-Andre Fleury and say, you know what? Let's try a Stanley Cup winning goalie in net. And maybe out of the blue, Matt Murray returns to the
fuck. Wow.
And you have Murray and Fleury.
Oh my God. We got to go out on that. Wow.
All right, everybody. For the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, once again, don't forget to follow us on social media at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, Tip In Pod on Twitter, Tip In Podcast on TikTok. And until next time, I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
We will.
Yeah, guys. You imagine that? The Pittsburgh combination from winning cups, Murray, who hasn't played in fucking forever. And this
all he has to do is sit on the bench.
And he's just got groin issues like you wouldn't believe. And then Fleury comes in. But maybe you're right, Chad. Maybe Fleury could come in and just stand on his head for 2 months. And that's all it takes. It's just like they just get a guy that's stopping the puck like Bobrovsky for the Panthers last season. Very interesting. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll catch you sometime on the weekend. We'll catch you guys later.
Catch you later.